Yo, what is going on, guys? And welcome back to 365 Analytics. We are back. It is Game Picks Day. It is Wednesday night yet again. And we are back with another week of picking games. And we are already entering NFL Week 15 tomorrow night, which is absolutely insane. But man, it's been a crazy season already. We've had a lot to talk about and we've had a lot going on. So before we get into the picks, this past week, I was 12 and 1, easily my best week of the year. And let's continue that hot streak today, picking these games. And that brings my overall record to 130 and 78 with a win on the lock and the upset. So that brings me to 9 and 5 on the locks and 4 and 10 on the upsets. But never mind that right now. Before we get into it, if you guys enjoy, please like, subscribe. That all be greatly appreciated. We're trying to get those numbers up, but we are here for week 15. That's what you guys care about. That's what we're going to do. We are starting off with an NFC West battle on Thursday night football. It is the Los Angeles Rams and the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams, they're coming off a big win versus the Bills in SoFi Stadium in one of the best games of the entire 2024 NFL season to this point. The Niners are coming off a blowout win over the Bears, so both these football teams are coming off of big wins. The popular vote in this one's probably going to be the Los Angeles Rams with the way that Matthew Stafford played last week, with the way that Puka Nakua played last week. They were firing on all cylinders, and I picked them to win, and I was correct against the Buffalo Bills, but they were insane. The Niners standpoint, they played well. Isaac Guerrero had a coming out party, was very good in the game. I mean, there's really not much that you can say besides they had a really good performance. I don't know if you guys can hear that wind outside, but the wind is kicking today. It's only like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I had the lights off, so it looks dark, obviously. But I'm gonna start off picking the home team. I think that the short week, high-powered game, high volume, a lot of points put up, a lot of effort put up from the offense is gonna take effect in the Los Angeles Rams in a big way. Both these teams obviously on a short week, but the Rams they scored 40 points last week. The offense was high octane, and I'm taking the Niners today. Give me the 49ers at home to start off the week. And then we go to the Sunday games, as it is the Dallas Cowboys and Carolina Panthers. The Cowboys, they played Monday night against my Cincinnati Bengals, and we finally picked up a win. Cooper Rush was all right. CeeDee Lamb had a pretty good game. I mean, the Bengals defense they were playing against, so don't take too much into account of it. But they're going to Carolina, who Bryce Young, he's looked better as the weeks have gone on. They almost upset the Philadelphia Eagles this past week. If Xavier Legette catches a touchdown, they probably do. And they're at home here. Bryce Young's playing better football. I mean, you're going to take the Carolina Panthers. Dave Canales has these guys rolling. They're playing better football. Bryce Young is playing the best football he's played in his years in Carolina so far. He's looking a lot like Alabama Bryce Young. It's looking like a good product out of him. So yeah, I think the Carolina Panthers get this done at home. And then we go to an AFC matchup, as it is the 12 and 1 Kansas City Chiefs. The voodoo magic continued last week. We'll talk about that more in a second. Going into Cleveland to take on Jameis Winston, the gunslinger, and the Browns. The Chiefs. Sunday Night Football. It was Chargers Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs line up for a game-winning field goal. Matthew Wright off the upright and good for the Kansas City Chiefs to clinch the AFC West. The voodoo magic continues. They're going to Cleveland, who are coming off a loss versus the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. So, who's the better football team in this one? That's the one I'm taking. I really think that Kansas City gets this done. There's not much you could say. Best team in football right now. Super Bowl contenders. There's just really there's really not much else to say about it. Chiefs are winning this game. The Browns are 3 and 10 right now, I believe. I think they dropped 3 and 11, and the Kansas City Chiefs create more leeway with the Buffalo Bills to get to the 1 seed. I believe if the Chiefs win and Bills lose this week, the Chiefs are 1 win away from getting the 1 seed. The Chiefs will go to 13 and 1, and the Bills will go to 10 and 4. So after this week, there's 3 weeks left. So yeah, one more Chiefs win. If the Chiefs won this week and Buffalo lost to Detroit, next week a Chiefs win clinches the 1 seed, I believe, in week 16, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, give me the Chiefs here. And then we have a pretty pivotal AFC matchup. I mean, this slate is very good. We have seven 1 p.m. games, five 425 games, with four elite 425 games right here. These four absolute bangers back to back to back to back. But this one, it is the Miami Dolphins and the Houston Texans. The Dolphins, they played an overtime game with the New York Jets last Sunday, where Jonnu Smith caught the game-winning touchdown in good fashion to keep the Miami Dolphins season alive. They're traveling to Energy Stadium in Houston to take on CJ Stroud and the Texans, well rested on a bye. This one's really tough. This is one of the toughest games of the week, if you ask me. The Dolphins, they're the hotter football team right now. Like that can't really be argued. They did have the blowout loss versus Green Bay a few weeks ago, but other than that, they've played nails football. Tua's having, I think he's on pace for the highest completion percentage in a season ever. I think he's gonna beat Drew Brees' record. He's playing well. Tyreek Hill had his best game of the year possibly last week. But going to Houston with a chance to clinch the AFC South this week with a Houston win and an Indianapolis loss. I'm taking well rested CJ Stroud at home here. I think that basically cans the Miami Dolphins season, pretty much, right? That cans the Miami Dolphins season. They would go to 6-8 in this scenario, and it's gonna be tough to catch Denver and the Chargers with that. And yeah, I'm still holding out hope for the Bengals, obviously, because I'm a biased Bengals fan and I'm delusional. So I'm gonna root for the Texans in this game no matter what, because it's good for the Bengals. Yeah, they're probably not gonna make playoffs, but I'm delusional. I'm holding out hope anyway. So give me the Texans. I think they win this game. And then we go to the Disappointment Bowl in Duval County. It is the New York Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Two big disappointments in my eyes. I think a lot of people would say the Jets are a bigger disappointment than the Jaguars this season. But I honestly beg to differ. I had division winning expectations for the Jaguars. I thought Doug Peterson was going to be back on track. I thought Trevor Lawrence was going to play the best football of his career this year. And I thought the Jacksonville Jaguars would win the AFC South. That was probably my worst take of the offseason. But honestly, I was right about the Texans. I was right about the Texans. CJ Stroud's having a sophomore slump. I mean, the only thing I was wrong about with them is Joe Mixon. Because Joe Mixon, I said a lot about him losing a step since he got cut from Cincinnati, but CJ Stroud is in a sophomore slump. So I was right about the Texans. I don't care if they win the division or not. But back to this game, it's the Jets and the Jags. The Jets, they're coming off the overtime loss versus the Dolphins. Rodgers played one of his better games of the season, I'd say, but it wasn't enough to win. The Jaguars, this game's in Duval County. They won a game last week versus the Tennessee Titans, 10-6, where neither team played well. It was a pretty bad game, to be honest. Mac Jones just did just enough to win the game. And I don't think the Jets lose this. Like, the Jaguars, I picked the Jaguars last week over Tennessee, and they are so bad. Like, I can't believe they won that game. I can't believe the Titans managed to lose that game. But the Jets are the better team here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is gonna do enough to win. Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, I mean, Will McDonald, like they're gonna do enough. They're gonna do enough to win this game. Sauce Gardner's still banged up. Who knows if he'll play? Brees Hall, who knows if he'll play? But they have enough. They have enough in those positions, like DJ Reed and Braylon Allen, to get it done and win this game. So they're gonna get it done. And then we have the Marshawn Lattimore revenge game. Recorded today, Marshawn Lattimore is on pace to make his season debut today, on Sunday versus the New Orleans Saints. It's the Commanders and the Saints. The Commanders, they're well rested, coming off the bye week, trying to catch the Eagles and win that division. The Saints, they're at home in this game. This game's at the Superdome. They're coming off a pretty bad game, but it was a win. It was a win, blocked field goal versus the New York Giants, led by Drew Lock, who they almost let come back, but almost wasn't enough for the Giants. But yeah, the Commanders are winning this game. I don't have much to say about it. I mean, better football team. They're fighting for a playoff spot right now. They're off the bye week. They're well rested. It is go season now. Only 4 weeks to go. 15, 16, 17, 18. 4 weeks left. The Commanders are determined to get that playoff spot. The entire NFC West is on their tail. I mean, they're going to get it done. They're going to the wall now. And this is the stretch run. They're gonna win these games. They got some easy teams left. I mean, they have the Saints. I think the Eagles game is next week. But yeah, the Commanders, they're gonna get this done. And then we have Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens taking on Tommy DeVito this week. Drew Lock is in a walking boot, and the New York Giants. I'm gonna take the Giants. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm taking the Ravens. I don't. This one I don't have much to say about either. This one's pretty one-sided. I mean, the Ravens are 16.5 point favorites in this game, I believe. They're gonna win this game, but Ravens, Ravens, the Giants are probably the worst team in the National Football League right now. I think everyone can agree that Tommy DeVito will probably spark it a little bit. They have some talent on the offense. Tommy DeVito can run an offense better than Drew Lock can, and I'll go on a limb saying that. But Baltimore Ravens, I don't care how bad the Bengals are. I don't care how bad they are. If the Baltimore Ravens lose this game, they will not hear the end of it from me, yo. The Baltimore Ravens, they're gonna win it. They're gonna win it because they're coming off. They're coming off. Did they come off a loss going to? Oh yeah, they lost to Philly. They lost to Philly going into the bye week. But there's zero chance they lose this game. If they do though, it would be a funny sight to see. But I think Baltimore's gonna get it done. And then the final 1 o'clock game. It is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans. We've had some good matchups with these guys in the past, but it looks a lot different this year, man. It looks a lot different. Both these teams aren't very good right now. Obviously, the Bengals are 5-8. They're coming off a win. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, man, I cannot say enough about those guys, man. Those two are unbelievable. Chase might win the Triple Crown with another historic game on Monday Night Football, almost 200 yards. That guy is unbelievable. And Burrow, if the Cincinnati Bengals were above 500 in a division winner right now, he would be the most valuable player in the National Football League, and it's not even a debate. He has been the best quarterback in the entire league this season. He's been better than Josh Allen. Yes, he has. Josh Allen's team says a 10-3 record. If this Bengals defense was even average, if they were even average, they'd be a Super Bowl contender, which sucks to say, man. But Bengals Titans will look a lot different this year. We've had some playoff matchups. We had some matchups with Tannehill in the past. This has been a low key rivalry. Like these two had some fun matchups over the years, but over the Burrow years, I should say. But last year we lost to these guys. Obviously, it's the Tyler Boyd reunion game, the Brian Callahan reunion game, the Cheeto Awuzie game. So we have a lot of familiar faces on that side. But I'm gonna take Bengals. They get it done. Um, don't think just because the Bengals are garbage this year that they're not going to make things competitive and they're not going to make it stressful to the very end. They aren't going to be eliminated from playoff contention until the very end. And I can go out on a limb in saying that. They're going to do the same exact thing they did last year, where they rallied off wins versus Indianapolis, Minnesota. They rallied off those two, Jacksonville, Indianapolis, Minnesota with Jake Browning last year. They're going to do the same exact thing with Dallas, Tennessee, and Cleveland this year. They're going to win those 3 games. It's going to set up for an interesting Denver game in Week 17. That game will probably be on a Saturday, which will be very interesting to see. The Bengals are winning this. The Bengals are winning the game. So, give me the Bengals. They're getting it done. They're going to make it interesting. Never doubt the Bengals to make things interesting when just to get our heart broken again. But yeah. Next up, it is probably the worst 425 game, but still could be interesting. It is the New England Patriots and the Arizona Cardinals in State Farm Stadium. And I can't predict the Cardinals game right this year. The Cardinals are just the weirdest team in the football league this year. I mean, man, that was my only wrong pick last week. I had Arizona over Seattle at home, and they disappointed me. I could have had a perfect week. I could have had my first perfect week maybe ever. I don't think I've ever had a perfect week. I haven't had a perfect week in years if I've had a perfect week ever. But they were my only wrong pick last week. I picked Arizona over Seattle, but they lost. And in this one, I'm doing the same thing. I'm picking Arizona at home versus a team eliminated from playoff contention. I believe in Jonathan Gannon. I'm a big Jonathan Gannon guy. I'm a big Jonathan Gannon guy, and I think he's the right guy for the Arizona job. I see the improvement in year 2. I just think Trey McBride is a great tight end. Trey McBride's a great tight end. Kyler Murray, he's had his ups, he's had his downs. That's the bottom line of the situation. The one gripe I have, Drew Petzing and the Cardinals OC, Drew Petzing, I'm a fan. I think that he's done well. The only thing is Marvin Harrison Jr. needs to get more involved. This guy is so talented. They got to get Marvin Harrison Jr. more involved in the game plan. Marvin Harrison Jr. will show you weeks where he drops 100 and a touchdown. Like he shows flashes. And the next week he's a ghost. The next week he does nothing and he's a ghost. So it's crazy to say. It's crazy to say, but I'm taking the Cardinals here. They're gonna get back to 500. They're still gonna fight for that playoff spot and they're gonna get this done. And then we have another pivotal AFC playoff matchup. This one's swept under the rug because there's so many good games. We got Buffalo, Detroit, we got Pittsburgh, Philly. Those are the two games, but this one's been swept under the rug because of how good those games are. It is the Indianapolis Colts and the Denver Broncos. The Colts are coming off the bye week. They are 6-7 right now, fighting for their playoff lives in this football game. They lose this game, Dunzo. And that applies the same with the Bengals. If they're not already done, the Bengals probably already done. But I'm gonna be delusional still. That applies the same with the Miami Dolphins. Same thing with the Colts. Lose this game, you're done. You can't lose to Denver here. Denver currently sits in the 7, I believe. I believe the Chargers are still the 6 and Denver's the 7. Both these teams are coming off the bye week well rested. This should be very interesting. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, this might be my toughest pick of the entire week. Like I haven't had a winner set on this game entire week. I've looked over these picks multiple times and I haven't had a winner set yet. I think I'm gonna take the more experienced coach football team here. The quarterback that's playing better football this year is Bo Nix. The defense that's better is the Denver Broncos. The team at home is the Denver Broncos. The better record is the Denver Broncos. I mean, they get it done, I think. I think they do. I won't guarantee it, but I think they do. No matter the loser of this game, it could be good for the Bengals. I'm gonna be happy no matter who loses this game. Indianapolis, you're virtually eliminated if you lose this game. If Indianapolis wins this though, do not sleep on it. I think they have the Titans, Giants, and Jaguars left. If Indianapolis wins this game and they go to 7-7, do not sleep on them with a 9-8 or 10-7 finish. It really could happen. Next up, the game. The game right here. The game of the year to this point. Two Titans in their respective conferences. The clash of the Jays at quarterback. Two MVP candidates going at it in a high octane matchup with Nance and Romo on the call on CBS. It is the Buffalo Bills and the Detroit Lions. Starting off with the Bills. They're coming off a high powered loss versus the Rams last week. Josh Allen accounting for 6 total touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 rushing. An MVP type performance, even in a loss. His defense let him down. Easily the MVP frontrunner to this day. Going into Ford Field, the Motor City. The NFL today will be on the scene, taking on Jared Goff and the Lions, who haven't lost since September. This is going to be good. The Buffalo Bills playing for their lives for a number 1 seed in the AFC. In the Detroit Lions, trying to keep the distance with the Philadelphia Eagles from tracking them down and getting that 1 seed. This is going to be fun, ladies and gentlemen. Who needs it more? The Buffalo Bills. Who has the better quarterback? The Buffalo Bills. Who has the MVP frontrunner? The Buffalo Bills. Who has the better coach? The Detroit Lions, but that could be debated. The better defense? Probably Detroit Lions, but they're banged up as well. Who knows if Reader plays? Who knows if Onwuzurike plays? The team that's coming off a loss is more hungry, I think. And I do not think the Bills drop 2 in a row. This is going to be the game that cements Josh Allen as your MVP quarterback, I think. This is the one that Josh Allen, he gets it. He gets a big win. Everyone in Orchard Park's going to be rooting for Kansas City to lose to Cleveland. That's not going to happen. But this is going to be a much needed win. I think Detroit drops one for the first time since week 2. versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That one is going to be fun, fun, fun. Next up, a pretty good matchup between two teams in opposite conferences that could both very, very use a win. It is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Buccaneers coming off a win versus the Raiders, where Baker Mayfield played some solid ball. Mike Evans pretty non-existent. Sterling Shepard played well. They got the win. It was the Raiders. They got the win. Going into SoFi versus the Chargers team who wants to get that 5 seed. Those three AFC wildcard teams, it is grind, grind, grind to get that 5 seed. That 5 seed is going to be so, so much different than the 6 and 7 this year. If you get the number 5 seed in the AFC, you get to go to Houston. Anyone that gets that matchup likes that so much better. If you're Baltimore, Los Angeles, or Denver, you like the 5 seed so much better. You'd much rather go to Houston than having to go into Buffalo or Pittsburgh. And it's Jim Harbaugh again, but the Bucks have some holes on defense, and I think Herbert will exploit them. I believe Herbert didn't practice today, but if that should be a minor concern, I think he still plays. I believe it was reported that he didn't practice today. I'm taking the Bucks. I think they give their Chargers the second loss in a row from them, and I think they get it done. The Chargers playing football hasn't been great in the past few weeks. They almost lost to Atlanta. Speaking of Atlanta, Tampa Bay is back in the front seat of the NFC South because Atlanta, they look bad. They look bad right now, man. But I think the Bucks get it done and they create more cushion in the NFC South. I mean, without Godwin, they're doing this. It's just fun to see, man. It's just fun to see Baker. Baker is one of my favorite players ever since he left Cleveland. One of my favorites. And we have another banger. Ho 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 ho. Oh my goodness. Another banger. A double header from both networks. We have a 425 Fox game. We have a 425 CBS game. We have some bangers. It is two really, really good football teams in each conference. Again, it is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles. I saw a stat today. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not won in Philadelphia since 1968. Both these teams, they're hot. I mean, Pittsburgh's won two in a row since the loss to Cleveland. They're playing good football. Russell Wilson looks amazing. Philadelphia has not lost since week 4, I think, to Tampa Bay. They haven't lost since then. And there is some drama going on with Hurts and AJ Brown. I think that gets resolved. That gets resolved very quickly. As soon as AJ Brown gets the ball, you know what he does with it, and they're going to get it to him in this game. Call me biased, I'm a Bengals fan, and I hate the Steelers. I don't care. I'm taking Philly. They're hot right now. I'm not picking against them. They're my NFC Championship prediction, and it will get interesting, interesting, interesting. If Philadelphia wins and Detroit loses, they both are going 12-2, and it will be an interesting finish in the National Football Conference. Because man, that'll be interesting to see. That'll be interesting. But I'm taking Philly. That game's gonna be elite, though. It's gonna be another elite game. The entire 425 slate. These 3 games right here. I mean, these 4 games. Red Zone, Scott Hansen. Nothing better. Nothing better. But we have another good one. This might be the best slate of the year right here. This is the best slate. This is the best slate of the year, right? It is Sunday Night Football in a big, big, big NFC matchup. The Green Bay Packers and the Seattle Seahawks. I believe both these teams are 8-5. Both these teams are 8-5, right? Or the Packers 9-4. The Packers are 9-4, I think. Actually, the Packers are 9-4. Yeah, Packers 9-4, I think. And then Seattle is 8-5. They're in Lumen Field. Prime time in Seattle. Biggest primetime game in Seattle since the Russell Wilson era, most likely. And with this win, with the Niners losing, with the Niners beating the Rams on Thursday, this could be a big, big win towards Mike McDonald getting an NFC West championship in his first year as a head coach. But the good side of my brain says the Green Bay Packers are due, and the Seattle Seahawks are due. The Packers are due for a win. The Seahawks are due for a loss. Jordan Love's going to exploit that pass defense very well. Ernest Jones has been a very good pickup for them. They have some ballers in that defense. Julian Love is great. Leonard Williams is playing some of the best ball he's ever played, and he's above age 30. But I'm taking the Green Bay Packers. I'm not picking against Jordan Love in a game they need, quite frankly, right? A game they need. I mean, they're probably going to make the playoffs. That's the bottom line. But they're coming off a loss. They're not going to win the NFC North anymore. And everyone in the Green Bay Packers building knows that. They're playing for a wild card position at this point. I think Green Bay missed Minnesota's next week, if not the week after. They play very, very soon. That should be very interesting. But I'm taking the Packers. And then we have a very, very mid Monday Night Football doubleheader. It is the Chicago Bears at Minnesota Vikings. These two played a few weeks ago, and I picked the Bears to upset. Before I say anything else, I'd like to apologize to Mr. Sam Darnold. I'd like to apologize to Mr. Kevin O'Connell. I was on the show a few weeks ago, probably week 12, week 13, just a few weeks ago, calling the Minnesota Vikings the most fraudulent offense ever. They're going to get exposed in the playoffs. The defense is great, but the offense is a problem. Sam Darnold goes out there and throws 5 touchdown passes. Those dudes are rolled, man. I gotta give them props. They've won a few in a row now. I call them frauds because Sam Darnold wasn't playing the best ball, but he is doing it. KOC is an elite head coach, man. And I'm not picking against them. It's icy white Viking week this week. They're in the all white uniforms. Justin Jefferson's dropping 102 in the all white Vikings uniforms. Give me Minnesota at home. They're getting the sweep on the Chicago Bears. Chicago looked lifeless last week with Thomas Brown at head coach. Safe to say they'll be hiring out of house, I'd say. So, yeah, give me the Vikings. And the final game on the slate, it is the Atlanta Falcons and Las Vegas Raiders. The Falcons, they're in some deep, deep water right now. I do say so. They're in some deep, deep water. Kirk Cousins is playing some terrible football. They're coming off a loss versus Minnesota. He's not playing well at all. And the pass rush looks bad. I mean, it's better. It's been better over the past few weeks. They got a few sacks. It's been better, but it's still not good. They're going into Las Vegas to take on Antonio Pierce, probably playing for his job, to be quite honest. Aiden O'Connell got hurt. They assumed it was a major injury, but it was just a bone bruise. He was okay. He's on track to play this week. They need it bad, right? They need it bad. They need it bad. I mean, they're gonna get it, right? They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it. They don't lose one. Absolutely not. The, everyone in that building, Raheem Morris, everyone knows they need it. I mean, if they want any chance of getting back in the playoffs, they're gonna get this. So they better get it at least. So yeah, give me Atlanta Falcons. And those are the picks with a full 16 game slate. Some of these are subject to change, would possibly be TNF. Maybe this one right here. Other than that, maybe Indy Denver I'd change. Other than that, maybe this one. That might be it. San Francisco, Carolina, Kansas City, Houston, Jets, Commanders, Ravens, Bengals, Cardinals, Broncos, Bills, Buccaneers, Eagles, Packers, Vikings, Falcons. With my lock of the week being Baltimore over New York Giants, and my upset being Buffalo over Detroit. It's size 10. Gold italic with Baltimore being purple, and that, and then Buffalo. But yeah, those are the picks. Now these are the power rankings. And here are the power rankings. With number one not changing at all. It's the Detroit Lions, that's safe to say. With the top four shaking up a little bit, some movement, but it's the same 4 teams, the best 4 teams in the National Football League, no debate. 5 through 8 not changing at all. Those few stand pat. All good football teams. Seattle jumping back into the top 10. Denver, LAC, Commanders, Texans. These four, or these three, all drop one because the Seahawks move up. Rams go to 14. They get a win over San Francisco. They're going to jump high. Tampa Bay, Miami, Arizona, Indianapolis. Bengals go up 2 with the Dallas win. Niners, Falcons, Saints, Browns, Bears, Cowboys. +1, -1, +1 with these three right there. The Jets go down 1. The Jets are horrendous. Jaguars go up 3. They have to be above the Titans because they beat them. Raiders, Giants. So honestly, this might be the week we've had the least movement in the entire power ranking season. Like usually every single week we have a double digit mover or close to double digit movement, especially towards the beginning of the season. I mean, you figure out who teams are slowly. I always say you don't know truly know who a team is until after Thanksgiving. I mean, but Seahawks being the biggest mover this week, they go in the top 10. Now they're 8-5. They go up four, being the biggest movement of the week, but probably the least movement ever. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoy. We'll be back next week with more game picks. A lot going on right now, so I don't really have time for all these other videos. A lot going on in my life right now. But yeah, I'll see you guys with week 16 game picks next week. Hard to believe we're already that late in the season. Only a few more of these episodes left, so it's sad. If you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, be greatly appreciated. I'll see y'all next week.